Okay, excellent. My name's Angela, and this is the third class out of the fourth series. Now I have Andrea assisting me today as my model, so if you're ever unsure what we're doing, you can always watch her, but I'll come around and assist as needed. So today for props, we have 2 blocks, a strap, and we're also using a blanket, which is optional, but it's good to pad the knees in a couple of the poses that we're doing, so feel free to grab those. Those of you at home, if you don't have blocks, you can sort of improvise with anything that's strong, that'll give you a little bit of height off the floor. So let's get started standing on our mats. So come to the top of your mat in Tadasana pose, mountain pose. And when we stand in mountain pose, we want the feet at sit bone distance, toes forward. Let's turn your toes a little bit more. Good. Lift, spread the toes, and then lower them down. Make sure the head of the femurs. And I never wear it. And it's okay. It's totally stuck inside. That's right. Okay, so the head of the femurs are back over the ankles, not jutting forward, okay? And tuck the tailbone under a little bit. Feel tone in the belly. Lift up tall through the crown of your head. Roll the shoulders into your back. And bring your hands together into prayer position. Let your thumbs touch your heart center. And then close your eyes. Take nice deep breaths into all parts of the lungs. Keep your low ribs coming back in. Yeah, good. Good. Breathing into the back body, the side body. Allowing your breath to make a sound like the ocean. And bring all your awareness to this sound. Bring your mind to your breath and to your body, letting go of your day. And take a moment here just to check in with your body and find out what's going on there today. The body sends us messages all day long, but we're often too busy to hear those messages. And when we practice, we want to practice and honor our body and give our bodies what they need. So do a little mental scan from the top of your head all the way down throughout your body and just notice where you might be holding some tension or some stress. Take 2 more deep breaths. And on your next exhale, open your eyes. And we'll begin to flow with the breath. So inhale, reach both arms up overhead, opening up through your chest. Bring your palms together and simply exhale them back down to your heart. Good. Inhale and sweep them up. And exhale them back down. Good. Next time, inhale, sweep them up. And then exhale and fold forward over top your legs. So here, if the hamstrings are tight, bend the knees. See if you can bring your fingertips to your mat. And now bring your fingertips to your shins. Inhale, lift up halfway to a flat back. So really reach your chest forward, let the pelvis tilt. And then exhale and fold deeply in towards your legs. Good. From here, inhale, sweep your arms, come all the way back up to stand. Reaching towards the sky, bring your palms together, and exhale your hands back down to your heart. Good. Another one like that. Inhale, reach the arms up. Good. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold deeper. Inhale, sweep the arms, come all the way up, palms together. And exhale your hands back down. Good. Let's do one more like this. Inhale, reach the arms up. Big breath in. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold into your legs. Inhale, sweep the arms, come all the way up. Get nice and tall, nice and long through the side body, palms together, and exhale your hands back down. Good. From here, let's move on. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale and bow forward. Now see if you can keep the legs a little bit straighter. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, plant your hands down, step back to plank pose. And we're going to stay in our plank and hold for a few breaths. So lift up tall in the shoulders. Draw the tailbone down towards your heels. And keep your gaze just beyond your fingertips towards the top of your mat. Feel as though you're lengthening out from the crown of your head and out through your heels. Good. Keep your awareness on your breath. Excellent. Take one more inhale. And then exhale and slowly lower down. And as you lower, keep the head of the arms into the back, elbows pointing back behind you. Good. Come all the way down. Flatten the tops of your feet. Press down to the tops of your feet and inhale and rise to cobra pose. And as you rise, the shoulders are into the back. Relax and soften through your neck. So everybody's going to be coming to different heights, and that's okay. Really think of length out through the crown of the head. Lengthen the spine. Good. Release forward. Press into your hands and come up to table pose on your hands and knees. Good. So bring those wrists right under your shoulders. Knees are directly underneath the hips. We're going to flow with the breath through cat and cow to loosen the spine. So as you inhale, tilt the pelvis, lift the head and the tailbone up. And as you exhale, round the spine, spread the shoulder blades, press all the way up towards the sky. Good. Inhale, drop the belly. Allow the belly to relax. Reach your chest through your shoulders. So take your shoulders into your back. And then exhale and hug the belly all the way up towards the spine. Good. One more time like this. Inhale. Good. And exhale. See if you can go a little bit higher this time. Get a nice stretch. Good. Come back to a neutral spine. Now, check in with your hands. Really spread your fingers nice and wide. Try to take the thumbs and the pinkies far from each other and ground the knuckles. Feel all four corners of the palms. Then curl your toes under. Lift your knees up and the hips and send them back for downward facing dog. Good. So we want a long line in the upper body. So take your feet wider. Bend your knees. Draw the spine long. Good. Keep the hands where they are though. Bend the knees a little bit more. Yes. And then pedal the feet out. Draw one heel down at a time. Whatever feels good to help open up the hamstrings. Every day we need to stretch these hamstrings. Take your feet a little bit wider. Good. Bend your knees. Draw the hips back. There you go. And keep grounding through the knuckles. Good. Good. And now see if you can take both heels down towards your mat, but remember to keep the knees bent if you need to. Excellent. Look up towards your hands. Inhale, step your right foot forward. And then step your left foot forward. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms, come all the way back up to stand. Bring your palms together and exhale them back down to your heart. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale and fold forward. All the way down. Good. Inhale to a flat back. Now exhale, plant your hands down, step back to plank. This time we're going to hold plank for just one breath in, and then exhale and slowly lower down. Hover over top your mat. And then inhale, come forward to upward facing dog. So tops of the feet are flat, chest is lifted, shoulders rolling down into the back, and the neck is nice and soft. Good. Knees and hips are off. Now lift the hips up, send them back for downward facing dog. Good. Look up towards your hands. Inhale, step your left foot forward. And then exhale, step the right foot forward. Inhale, lengthen up halfway. Exhale and fold. Inhale, sweep the arms, come all the way up, palms together. And exhale your hands down. Good. Inhale, reach both arms up overhead. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale to a flat back. Now exhale, plant your hands down, step just your right leg back. Lower your knee down to your mat in a low lunge. Inhale, rise, reach both arms up overhead. Good, so keep those hips drawing forward to feel the stretch in the hip flexor. Excellent. Exhale, lower the hands down and release just the front foot back. Come to plank pose. Good. Inhale here and exhale to lower down. Inhale forward, upward facing dog. Good. Press the tops of your feet down. Excellent. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Good. Look up towards your hands. Inhale, step your right foot forward. And then step the left foot forward. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale, sweep the arms, come all the way up. Palms together. And exhale your hands down. Good. Inhale, sweep both arms up. Exhale, fold forward, all the way down. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plant the hand, step just your left foot back and lower that knee to the mat. Good. Inhale to rise. Reach your arms up, shoulders into your back. Keep those hips reaching forward. Good. Exhale, both hands come down. Front foot comes back to plank. Inhale here. Exhale to lower. Inhale, sweep forward. Good. Exhale, release back. Downward facing dog. Good. Look towards your hands, come forward to plank. Walk your feet together and roll to the outside of your right foot for side plank. Good. And reach the top arm up. So you can hold a traditional side plank with the feet stacked, toes reaching up, or if you like to, you can bring the top leg into a variation, sort of a tree pose. Making you work here. Just try not to press down into the standing leg, keep the hips lifted. Good. Breathe deeply. Excellent. With control, come back to plank at center. And then over to the other side. So feet are stacked. Bring those toes back towards you. If you want to, you can take the variation a little bit more of a challenge, bringing that top leg into a tree pose. Good. Excellent. With control, come back to center. Lift the hips, send them back for downward facing dog. Take 2 nice deep breaths here in your downward facing dog. And then lower your knees down wide on your mat. Bring your big toes together to touch each other. Sink your hips all the way back onto your heels and lower your forehead down with a nice long spine. Good, deep breaths. So breathing even more into the back lungs. If you ever find it challenging to reach your forehead all the way down into the mat, you can place a block underneath your forehead or a folded blanket, or even use fists and then place your forehead onto the fists. This is a great stretch for the tops of the ankles, but if you find that your ankles are really tight, you can also roll up the back of your mat, a blanket or a towel to support those ankles. Good. So on each inhale, fill the lungs. And on each exhale, allow the hips to sink further down. Good. Bringing all your awareness to your breath. Soften around your shoulders. Yeah. Good. Take one more deep inhale. Exhale out all the air. And come back to downward facing dog. So the bodies are warm. Good. Look up towards your hands. Inhale, step your right foot forward. And then exhale, step your left foot forward and bring your big toes together to touch, heels slightly apart. Good. You're going to sit back into the hips so the knees are directly over the toes, and you're going to come up and start with sweeping both arms up overhead for chair pose. So the hips are reaching back and the chest is lifted. Good. We're going to take a variation with the arms. So you're going to bring your forearms together to touch each other. And then you're going to take your left elbow into your right elbow. And then maybe see if you can wrap the wrists as well. If your shoulders are tight, you can also just place them onto your shoulders. And now as the hips come back, the elbows are going to lift up and away from you, giving you a nice stretch through the upper back into the shoulders. Good. Deep breaths. Keep the legs strong. See if you can lift these up and away. Good. Excellent. Undo the arms. Straighten your legs. Reach both arms up. Take a little rest in the legs. And then we're going to sit back into the hips and take the right elbow into the left. Other side. Wrapping, reaching them away or on the shoulder. Good. Good stuff. Good. Release the arms. Come to stand. Arms by your side. Let's do some balancing. So take your feet a little bit wider apart, right underneath your sit bones. Toes are forward. Bring your hands to prayer position. And then bring the bottom of your right foot to the inside of your left leg for Relaxation, tree pose. Now you can bring it to the calf or the inner thigh if you need the inner thigh, or use your hands to bring it all the way up, just not directly on the knee itself. See if you can go a little bit higher. Good. And now allow that knee to open and stay nice and tall through the standing hip. So your hands are in prayer position. Now lift your sternum up into your thumbs. Rise up nice and tall. Good, yeah. And it's okay if you sway a little bit. Trees sway in the wind. Good. Now from here, bring that knee back to center. You're going to lift it nice and high as you can, and now wrap at the inner thighs. See if you can wrap the ankle as well. And we're going to come back to those arms we did in our chair pose, wrapping at the elbows and the wrists. Good. Don't worry if the ankle doesn't wrap. You can just let that foot kind of hang out, or even lower the toes down if you need a little kickstand. And try to lengthen through the hips coming back and the elbows moving away. You're gazing just beyond the forearms, so this is a great exercise for practicing your mental focus. So deep breaths, keep drawing in towards the center line of the body. Good. Now undo the arms. You're going to lift that right knee nice and high, and see if you can reach your peace fingers, the fingers you make a peace sign with, around the big toe. It's helpful to bring the left hand to your hip. And now see if you can extend that leg out in front. Don't worry if it's a little bit bent. Lifting from the heart, tailbones tucking under. Good, deep breaths. Good, and slowly lower that leg down, come back to Tadasana. So don't worry, sometimes when we balance, we get a little bit frustrated if our balance is off, and sometimes that makes it even worse. So just allow yourself to let go of that side. We'll give the other side a try. When you're balancing, if the mind is very busy, it becomes very hard to balance. So this is an exercise at stilling the mind. So we're going to do all that on the other side. So tree pose on the left side, sole of the foot to the inside of the right leg on the calf or inner thigh. You can use your hand to bring it up higher. And now press that foot into the leg and press the leg back into the foot. Bring your hands to prayer position. Lift up tall into the thumbs. Good. So find something to gaze at in front of you. Maybe a speck on the floor or on the wall. Good. Breathe deeply. Excellent. Bring that knee to face forward and lift it as high as you can. Then wrap at the inner thighs. Wrap the elbows and the wrists. And then sit the hips back and lift the elbows up and away from you. So you're gazing just beyond those forearms. Good stuff. Deep breaths. Hug in towards the midline through the legs as well as the core and the chest. Now undo the arms. Lift your left knee high. Bring your left peace fingers around the big toe, your right hand to the hip. Start just by stabilizing yourself here before you extend the leg, and then when you're ready, press out through the heel. Good. Lift up tall, tuck that tailbone under. Breathe. Good stuff. Lower the leg down. Check in with your feet. Make sure the toes are still pointing forward. Let's inhale, reach both arms up, get nice and tall. And then we're going to exhale, fold forward over top the legs. Now lift your feet up and place your hands underneath with the palms pointing up so the toes come into the wrist crease. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, and then exhale and fold into the legs. Maintain a long spine here. And let go through the neck. So if you're kind of holding your head up or gripping, allow the head to fall a little bit and soften. Good, so release through here a little bit more. Now if the knees are bent, that's okay. Just make sure that the knees track right over your toes. Open up a little bit, rather than the knees coming together. So deep breaths. We're going to get deep into the hamstrings today. So notice if there's resistance there. Take 2 more deep breaths. We do activities every day to shorten the hamstrings, so we must stretch them every day as well. Good. So carefully release your hands from your feet. Bring them down onto the mat at shoulder distance and step back to downward facing dog. Good. Okay, let's keep the body warm. So inhale, come forward to plank. Good. Exhale and lower down. Inhale forward, upward facing dog. Good. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Look up towards your hands. Inhale, step your right foot forward. Now, step your back foot in so that you can flatten it out with the toes pointing towards the top corner of your mat. If you find it's hard for you to get that heel to press down, then step your foot in a little bit closer. Good. Hips are square to the top of your mat. Front knee is bent right over the ankle. And you want to lift through the instep of the front foot. Good. And now sweep your arms straight up overhead. We're coming to warrior one. Excellent. So you want to see if you can straighten that back leg and then keep that right hip hugging back so that it's even with the left. Good. And now lift up nice and tall through the spine, but soften around the shoulders. Good. So bend your front knee a little bit more. Excellent. Now bring your arms behind you, interlace them, open up through the chest. Keep your legs exactly as they are and allow the upper body to come forward to the inside of the front thigh. Good. So you want to keep hugging that front knee in towards you. And then keep the shoulders opening. Great stretch for the front body. Deep breaths. Really keep pressing down into the feet and feel even on the feet. So watch if there's more weight coming into that front foot. Now there's an option here to take a bind, which is even more opening for the shoulders. So if that's enough of a stretch, feel free to stay with it. But the inside arm comes underneath the front thigh, and the other arm comes around to find that hand. Good. When you bind, even more drawing in. Good. Now if you are binding, release those arms. Bring them behind you, interlace them, rise all the way up to stand. Excellent. And release the hands to your hips. You're going to step your back foot in just a little bit closer towards you and turn your toes a little bit more towards the top of your mat. Bring both hands to your hips and you're going to straighten both legs. Now watch when you straighten the front knee that you don't hyperextend the knee. You want to keep a little micro bend to protect the back of the knee. Now this next pose, optional to bring the blocks on either side of you, especially if you know that your hamstrings are tight. Those are going to be beneficial to just lift you up off the mat a little bit. Okay, so you can always wait and see how you do. So inhale to lengthen through the spine, and then as you exhale, the pelvis is going to tip forward as you fold over the front leg. So nice and slow. Think of your hamstrings like silly putty. When you pull silly putty quickly, it snaps. When you take your time to pull it, it just lengthens and lengthens. So the blocks are useful for keeping your spine long and allowing the movement to happen from the pelvis tilting rather than the back rounding. And then you can adjust on the multiple levels. So deep breaths and keep pressing that back heel down. Yeah, see if you can really tilt from here. Good, so belly's dropping and chest is reaching forward. Good. Nice deep breaths. 2 more. Good, keep pressing down. Good, 1 more deep inhale. And exhale, you're gonna lower your back knee to your mat and come into a low lunge. And you can use your block still on either side. Now, if you find that the back knee, if it's too hard on the back knee, then just place your blanket underneath to give you some padding. Good. So we have a block on either side of that front foot. Now we're going to keep those hips drawing forward. So you can probably take your back knee further back here. Yeah. And bring your hands to your blocks. So you can lift through your chest. You're not really leaning onto the front leg. Yeah. Can you feel that stretch? Good. So we don't want to lean on the front leg with the belly. We want to stay lifted and engaged and strong. So once you've taken a few breaths here, if you feel like the hip flexor is opening and you want to go a little bit deeper into the stretch, what you can do is bring your hips back a little bit and then see if you can reach back with the left hand for the top of the foot or the ankle. And then once, if you're able to reach for your foot, once you've got it, then you're going to start to bring your hips forward a little bit more to come into the stretch. Now your right hand can stay on the block, or you can bring it to the top of the thigh if that's better for you. Good, so nice deep breaths. So see if you can bring the hips forward a little bit more. Yeah, and then keep your chest lifted. Good stuff. Good. And then carefully lower that back foot down. Now you're going to bring both hands on the blocks or on your mat to the inside of the front foot and take the front foot just a little bit wider, more towards the outer hip. And then let this leg open up. So you're going to peel the instep of the foot off your mat, baby toes pressing down, and now both hips are opening at the same time. So you want to keep the hips reaching forward. So come forward with your hands. A little bit more here, yep, and keep them drawing forward. Good stuff. So deep, deep breaths. This is a deep stretch. Good. Yeah, so hands can be right down into the mat, but if you feel like your spine is rounding, the blocks will give you a little bit more height. Good. 2 more deep breaths. And now slowly bring that front foot back to center. Bring your right hand onto the outside of it. Curl your back toes under and sweep your leg back for downward facing dog. Good. Don't worry about moving the blanket because you'll likely need it on the other side anyways. So it's already there for you. Good. Look up towards your hands. Inhale, step your left foot forward. Good. Make sure the knee's not going past the toes. Back foot, step it in so you can flatten that foot. Toes pointing towards the top corner of the mat. Hips are square to the top. And then inhale, reach both arms up overhead for warrior 1 pose. Good. Turn your toes a little bit more towards this corner. Good stuff, yeah. Good, deep breath. So feel really tall and lifted through the spine. See if you can bend your front knee a little bit more. Good. Excellent. Now bring your arms behind you, interlace them. Now find your rhomboids. Your rhomboids are these muscles towards the base of the shoulder blades in the center that when they engage, they draw your shoulder blades together, and that allows your chest to open. Lengthen through your spine, through your chest, and then fold forward to the inside of that front leg. Yeah, good. And as the body comes forward, keep the shoulders and the arms reaching back. Keep that back leg nice and straight. Good. Deep breaths. Keep pressing down into the feet and hugging in towards the center line. Good. So these muscles here engage. Excellent. Yeah, look at the difference there. Beautiful. And then if you want to take a bind on this side, feel free to do so. So the left arm will come inside the thigh and around the back, finding the other hand. Good. So we always want a goal. We always want to work up to something. But if you're not there today, then stay with where your body needs to be and work at that. Good. So if you have the bind, release it. Bring your hands back behind you. Draw the arms back as you rise all the way up to stand. Good. And bring those hands to your hips. You're going to step that back foot in a little bit closer, toes pointing a little bit more towards the top of your mat. And now both legs are straight. Hips are square, so draw that front hip in. Good. Lengthen through the spine, and then slowly you're going to tilt from the pelvis and fold forward over that front leg. So we're stretching the left leg now. It might be tighter than the right. You want to keep your left sit bone reaching back, and then you can utilize the blocks here. So straighten both legs. Yeah, the front one too. Good stuff. And now reach your heart forward, reach your chest forward. I would say come up a little bit higher in the blocks. Good. Nice deep breaths. So when you maintain the awareness on the body, your body will give you that signal that, yes, I've got this stretch. I'd like a little bit more, please. And then you can maybe go a little bit deeper. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, lower your back knee down. You've already got your blanket there if you need to adjust it. Good, lower the knee down, draw the hips forward, and then you can utilize your blocks if you like on either side, or you can keep them where they are. So keep your heart lifted, shoulders into the back. Good. I'd say use your blocks on the highest level to start. Good, and then keep reaching forward. Excellent. Good. And once you feel like the hips are starting to open, if you want to come into the additional stretch with the back leg for the quadricep and a little bit more into the hip flexor, you can see about reaching back for that back foot. So take it nice and slow. Good. Once you have hold of the foot, see if you can come forward a little bit more into the hips, and then your left hand, if you like, can rest on the left thigh. Good. Deep breaths here. Excellent. If you have hold of that foot, you can release it down now. Now bring both hands to the inside of your front foot on the mat or up onto blocks, and take that foot a little bit wider, more towards the outer hip. Then allow the knee to open. The big toe side of the foot comes off the mat. Flex the toes up towards the knee. It's important that we keep the foot engaged to protect the ankle and to protect that front knee. And so we can focus a little bit more on opening the hips. Good, so now keep your hips reaching forward. I'm gonna give you these for your hands. Yeah, bring that foot maybe a little bit further forward, I think. Yes, that's better. Great, now you can feel them both. Perfect. Good, 2 more deep breaths. Take your time coming out of this pose. Bring your hips back a little bit. You want to take your left foot in front of the hip. Hands come on either side, and now release back to downward facing dog. Good, so you can slide that blanket off to the side for now. We'll use it a little later. So let's inhale, come forward to plank, keeping the body warm. Exhale and lower down, hovering. Inhale, come forward, upward facing dog or cobra pose. Good. And exhale, back, downward facing dog. Look up towards your hands. Inhale, step the right foot forward. And now spiral the back leg out to the side. We want to line the front heel to the arch of the back foot. Hips are opening to the side. Then bring the body up. Arms in T position. Yep, come all the way up. Arms in T position. Hips and shoulders are facing in the same direction. Take a look down at the front knee and toes. So make sure that front foot's facing forward and the knee's right over the ankle, pointing over the second toe. Excellent. So we want that leg to open right from the hip. And then you're gazing over your front middle finger. This is your gazing point. Good. Deep breaths. This is a really strong pose, so keep pressing down into the feet, reaching out through the arms, but then soften around the neck. See if you can find that balance there. Good. And now straighten the front leg. You're going to reach through that front arm as though someone's pulling you till you can't go any further, and then fold to bring that hand to your mat or on a block behind your ankle. I'm going to place it there just to demonstrate. Good. So we don't want to be pressing down into the ankle. The nice thing about the block is it gives you a little bit of a platform. I'm going to bring it behind your ankle. Good. And then you can focus a little bit more on opening up the hamstrings. Now again, in this pose, if you have a tendency to lock that front knee, you want a little micro bend, engage all the muscles around the knee to protect it. Good. Both sides of the waist are nice and long. And now with that top arm, you're going to reach it up overhead, bring it parallel to the ground, getting an even deeper side body stretch. Good. Keep your shoulders turning towards the side wall. Good, so you're gonna go all the way this way. Yeah, how's that? That's okay? Sure, it's okay. Okay, excellent. Bring that top arm straight up first. Now you're going to take your block and bring it to the inside of the foot, the front foot. Good. Now bring your left hand down onto the block. Bring your right hand onto your hip. You're going to hook right onto the hip crease. Step your back foot in a little bit closer and turn your toes slightly more towards the top corner of your mat. Good. Now plant both feet down. Straighten both legs, so keep pressing out through the back heel. And now you're going to lengthen through your spine and open your chest towards the front leg. Good. An even deeper hamstring stretch. It's really important here to keep drawing that front hip back. Good. Turn your toes to face forward a little bit more. This foot. There you go. Good. And now you're opening in this direction. Excellent. Keep pressing down into those feet. Good. Take one more inhale. And exhale, bring your shoulders back to square. Bend your front knee. You can just slide your block off to the side. Both hands come down and come back to downward facing dog. Excellent. Look up towards your hands. Step your left foot forward. Spiral the back leg out. Line up the front heel to the arch of the back foot. Check in with the front knee, make sure it's right over the ankle, pointing over the second toe, and then rise all the way up, arms into T, gazing over your front middle finger. Good. And now in that back foot, really start pressing into the outer edge of the foot to lift the arch. Good. So turn your toes a little bit more forward. Yeah, and press into this side and keep it opening up. Good. Good. Straighten that front leg. The little micro bend. Reach forward, lengthen like someone's pulling your hand out in front of you, and then fold to bring that hand to the mat or onto a block. If you don't have blocks, the ankle will do, but not pressing down into the shin. So chest is opening, shoulders are opening, top arms reaching up. See if you can look towards those fingers. See if you can straighten this front leg a little bit more. Yeah. And then turn this way. Good. Deep breaths. And then if you want even more side body opening, that top arm can come up overhead and lengthen forward, getting nice and deep into the side body, but also a nice stretch for the low back. Straighten your front leg a little bit more. Good. Reach this way. Excellent. Now bring that top arm to point straight up once again. You're going to bring your block to the inside of the front foot, and then the right hand's going to come down onto the block. The left hand's going to come onto the left hip, and really just find that hip bone and kind of hook it on. Now step your back foot in a little bit closer. Turn your toes slightly more towards the top of your mat. And begin to revolve, so turning your shoulders and opening your chest towards the front leg. So pressing down into those feet. Jim, step your back foot in a little bit closer. Now press down. Good, and the legs stay nice and strong. So straighten that front leg. Yeah. Turn your toes a little bit more towards the top of the mat to protect your back knee, this back foot. Yeah, so turn them this way. Good stuff. Good, deep breaths. You got it. Come back to center. Place that block off to the side. Both hands come down. Release back to downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, come forward, upward facing dog. Good. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Good. Lower down onto your knees, come into table pose. Bring your hands back underneath of your shoulders. And now you're going to take your left arm and you're going to thread it underneath your right. So reach as far as you can. And then rest the back of the shoulder and the side of your head down onto your mat. So you're looking towards that left hand. And now tent the fingers of the right hand, press into your mat, and draw that right shoulder back over the left shoulder. So we're getting a deep stretch here underneath the shoulder blade. So bend this elbow, bring that hand right in front of your face, more. And then you're gonna press into that hand and draw this shoulder back. Good. You feel the stretch right in here? Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Keep this hand right in front of your face and draw this shoulder back. Good, deep breaths. Excellent. Press into your hand. Your right hand rise all the way up. Come back to table pose. And other side. So right arm threads under the left. Keep those fingertips pressing down. Good. And then this shoulder is going to come back this way. Can you feel the stretch on this side? Okay, come up onto the tips of the fingers here. Yep, keep down, and then keep drawing this one back a little bit more. A little bit more now? Mm-hmm. Good. So bend this elbow, bend this one. Yep, bring that hand right in front of your face. Once you're down, yep, like this. Press into that hand and draw the shoulder back. Good. One more nice deep breath. And then come all the way back up to table pose. Spread your fingers, curl your toes, come back to downward facing dog. Okay, step your left foot forward. And now turn sideways on your mat with your legs wide. Yeah, good stuff. And when you turn sideways, the toes should be pointing forward. Bring your hands to your hips. Let's rise all the way up. So the legs should be so wide that when you reach your arms out by your side, your ankles come right underneath your wrists. So if you have really long legs, you might need to, or really long arms rather, you might need to take your legs a little bit wider. Good. Now bring your hands back down to your hip. So really press down into the outer edges of the feet to lift in the arches. And you're going to lift your shoulders up, roll them into your back, and then bring your hands into fists right onto your low back. And feel as though you have magnets on your elbows and your shoulder blades, drawing them back. So they can continue always to draw back. Now inhale, lengthen through the spine, and exhale, slowly fold forward over top the legs. So as the body comes forward, keep the shoulders drawing back. They're going to want to come forward as well, and we want to keep this opening through the front body. Good, and keep reaching, lengthening your chest forward. Deep breaths. Good, so remember these magnets, pulling, pulling, pulling. Excellent. Now release those hands, bring them down to the mat if you can reach the mat, or onto your blocks. Take a couple more breaths like this. Good. Okay, now you're going to bring your body up a little bit, about parallel to the ground, and you're going to walk your hands forward. Now here's where the blanket's going to come in handy. I'm going to slide Andrea's blanket underneath of her, but what you want to do is you want to have the blanket long or have some sort of support underneath the knees. Once you have that in place. And then you're going to lower down to the inner part of the knees onto the blanket with the toes pointing out away from you. So you come onto the instep of the feet. Okay, then bring your heels directly behind the knees. So bring them in a little bit closer towards you. Good. And lower down onto your forearms. Good stuff. From here, you can draw the hips back just a little tiny bit till you feel the stretch. Doesn't take a lot of movement. Just a little bit will make a difference. So take your feet a little bit further out, Jim. Yeah, and this one as well. Good. You okay there? So bring this one in. Yeah, good. Deep breaths here. One more inhale. And exhale. Now to come out, start by coming back up onto your hands and bring all your weight forward in the upper body. Good. Now very carefully start to bring one knee in and then the other. So just little movements, the right, the left, the right, and the left. Take your time. And once you're able to bring both knees together, then flatten the tops of your feet and just sit back onto your heels for a moment. Good. Yeah, keep your body up, just to let the hips come back. Okay, so we don't need the blanket anymore. You can just slide it off to the side. We're going to come into Virasana, so stay on your knees, hero's pose. It's a great way to stretch the quadriceps and to do a gentle stretch of the knees. So the knees should be right underneath the hips. And then you're going to take your feet a little bit wider than your hips. And tops of the ankles here are flat. So if you have tight ankles here, again, you can roll a blanket up and place it underneath. So you're going to reach back for your calf muscles and you're going to kind of move them out of the way and come to sit between your ankles. So if you find you get stuck, and a lot of athletes have difficulty with this pose, if you can't get your sit bones down, or if you have any knee issues or prior knee injuries, bring something underneath of you. So a block at home, a pillow, a cushion, something that's supportive so you can elevate the hips. You should be able to keep the spine long once you're seated. So if you lower the hips but you're rounding, then that's an indication that you need to sit up a little bit higher. Good stuff. Good. And then once you're here, relax the shoulders into your back. Just place your hands onto your thighs. So you're going to bring one block at least. See if you can come down. Can you sit up straight there? Does it bother your knees? I'm going to slide this out though. Okay, so bring a second block. So come up a little bit higher. Good. Lower down. Better? It's too high. Okay, so try block with the blanket. That's okay? Okay, we'll just sit up nice and tall. Okay, so hold it there. Good. Oliver, can you sit up nice and tall? Here? Yeah. Is your bum touching? Okay, good. Take 2 more breaths. Good. And now slowly to come out of the pose, bring your hands out in front of you. We've done a stretch for the knees, so we want to release the knees. So kind of walk your hands out in front. One way to release the knees is to simply extend one leg back and then the other, or just come into a full downward facing dog. That also feels good. Good. So once the knees feel like they've been released, go ahead and come back down onto your knees, but sweep both legs out in front of you on the mat. So you come to sit on your bum. Good, so both legs are straight out. You're gonna bring your arms behind you, fingers facing you, and I'm gonna give you 2 options for this pose. So one option is to keep the legs straight. Another option is to bend the knees. Okay, so can I have you demonstrate with the knees bent first? So you take an inhale, then you exhale and you bring your body up off the mat like an upward facing table. So bring your body to parallel to the ground. Okay, so this is a nice opener for the shoulders. If that feels easy peasy, then lower the hips down and try it with the legs straight out. Just a little bit more challenging. And then lift the body up and see if, so lift your hips all the way up. Yeah, and see if you can get your feet flat on your mat. Good. So if the straight leg version feels impossible or you just feel so tight in your shoulders, then bend those knees and see if it becomes a little bit easier. A great way of opening up the interior part of the deltoids, the shoulders and the chest. Excellent. And then lower yourself down. Good. If you need to, you can roll the shoulders a little bit back and forward. Okay, let's grab our straps and make your way onto your back. We're going to do a series of hamstring stretches that will change your hamstrings if they're done often. At home, if you don't have a strap, you can also just use a towel and fold the towel up and use that. But we're going to target the hamstrings in 3 different ways. So let's start on the right leg, and you're going to wrap the strap around the ball of your right foot. And then once you have it wrapped, extend the leg up, and you're only going to hold the strap in your right hand. Now, if your hamstrings are super tight, there's an option here to bend the left leg and to keep that leg bent, because it's going to allow you to open up a little bit more in the hamstring. But if you're a little bit more open or you want to feel more stretch, then you can extend that leg out. Good. Bring your left hand onto your left thigh and kind of ground that side. Now, keep the arm nice and long on the strap and the shoulder relaxed into the back. We don't want to grip and bring lots of tension into the body. Good. And then you're going to lift that heel up towards the sky. Deep breaths, but keep that hip grounding. So keep this hip lowered down. Good. Try bending your other leg. Yeah, and then see if you can get a little bit more stretch. Good. Is that okay? Good. Keep this hand a little bit higher so you're able to relax the elbow. Perfect. Nice deep breaths. And if the knee's a little bit bent, just breathe into the back of the knee and work towards straightening. Good. So try to keep this sort of thigh bone down. I think you can straighten that leg. This one. Yeah. Yeah. You feel the stretch? Good. Okay. Excellent. Now from here, we're going to outer rotate the hip, the knee, and the foot. So everything's kind of pointing to the right side of the mat. And then you're going to bring that leg just about to the edge of the mat, slightly beyond, and you're going to hold there and breathe. Now here's where you're going to really want to press down to that left thigh to ground that side. So bring that hand onto here, keep pressing, and open up. Yes, good. Deep breaths. So if you're doing these stretches at home, see if you can hold each variation for about 5 to 10 nice deep breaths. Good. Excellent. So bring that leg back to center. Now you're going to switch hands on the strap. So your left hand's going to take the strap. Your right hand is going to hook onto your right hip. Now you're going to internally rotate the leg and draw it just across to the other edge of the mat. And keep lifting and pressing the foot up towards the sky. Good, nice deep breaths. You're going to feel this in the IT band as well as the outer hamstring. It's really important to ground the right hip as you draw the leg across. So let go for a second. That much you want to press down. Good. You might not be able to hold it quite as much, but see if you can keep that action. Yeah, use your thumb like that. It's probably easier. Good. Nice deep breaths. Did you switch legs? Oh, that's okay. So keep this one all the way down. Yep. This way across. Can you feel that? Good. Take 2 more breaths. This is usually the most intense of the 3. So you want to breathe even deeper. Good. So slowly bring this leg back to center. Release the strap. Extend your right leg down alongside your left leg. And now just take a moment of pause. Check in with your body. Notice if one side feels a little bit different from the other side. Maybe a little bit longer. And then we'll go over to the left side. So you're going to bring the left knee in. Wrap your strap around the ball of your foot. Hold the strap only in your left hand and reach that leg up towards the sky. So right hand can come to rest on the right thigh to ground that side. So I want you to think about keeping both hips down, grounding at all times. Even though the leg's moving, you want to feel like you're still pressing down. Good. So left side might be tighter than the right. If you notice that, bend your right leg. And then you can focus a little bit more on opening behind the knee. So deep breaths. Almost all athletes have tight hamstrings, if you're a runner especially. So focus now on opening up a little bit more behind there. Straight, yeah. You've got more there, good job. Excellent. Now let's externally rotate the leg from the hip, the knee and the toes, and then bring it just towards the outer edge of the left side of your mat, maybe slightly beyond, but not allowing the right side of the body to lift. Good, keep pressing down. Good, deep breaths. Okay, bring this leg back to center slowly. Switch hands on the strap first. Bring your left hand to your hip crease. Ground it down. Internally rotate the leg and draw it across your body. Just to the point where the hip starts to lift, because we don't want that hip to lift off. We want to ground it, anchor it, and that's where the stretch comes from. You feeling enough stretch right here? Okay. That's okay. So take this leg up, keep this hand right here onto your hip, press down, and then take the leg across. Feel that? Good. So just hold there and breathe. Good. Take one more inhale. And exhale, bring this leg back to center. Bend the knee, release your strap, place it to the side, extend that leg down alongside your right leg, and take a pause, noticing any further changes, maybe a little bit more balance to the lower body. Okay, excellent. So we're gonna do a prone twist today. So you're gonna come up to sit. We're almost to Shavasana, I promise. You're gonna come up to sit and you're gonna take both of your knees over to your right side. We're gonna start towards the right side. Then you're gonna walk your hands around. So you might need to move your hips a little bit more this way so you're right on the mat. You're gonna walk yourself around and you're gonna try and square your chest, square your shoulders to your mat, and then maintain a long spine as you lower yourself down towards the mat, right onto your chest. And then arms can come out by your side in cactus position or even in a T position. And you're gonna see if you can turn your head and look away from your knees. If that's too intense to look away, you can look back in the same direction. It's gonna feel wonderful, I promise. Good. Maybe bring your knees up a little bit higher. That might make it a little bit easier. Good. Yeah. Now this is a great version of a twist to balance out the neck. Sometimes we sleep on our tummies with the head to one side or do various activities where we sort of develop a tighter side of the neck. So can you guys both lower all the way down? Let's take your arms to the side. Yeah, lower your chest all the way down, bring this, yeah, and then turn and look this way if you can. Good. So in this version of a twist also, you want the shoulders to relax. So you may want to take the arms further out or sometimes closer in helps you achieve that. Depends, just kind of play around with it, see which one feels best. We're not gonna stay in this twist for too long, so just take one more nice deep breath. And exhale. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Maintain the length in your spine, press into your hands, come all the way up. Good. Walk yourself all the way around to face your legs. Take both knees over to your left side. Good. Walk your hands all the way around to square your shoulders to the top of your mat. Long spine as you lower yourself down. And then see if you can turn the head to look away from the knees. Again, if that's too much, feel free to look in the direction of the knees. And then adjust the arms so that you can soften and relax the shoulders. Good. Deep breaths. Good. Two more breaths. And slowly bring the hands under the shoulders. Press into your palms with that long spine. Come all the way back up. Turn and face forward on your mat. And then come all the way down onto your back. Good. Once you're on your back, bring your knees in towards your chest, hug them in. Rock from side to side or in a little circle, massaging the low back. Good. Hug your knees in nice and tight. Bring the forehead in, squeeze your body into a tight little ball. And now release yourself down, extend your legs out in front. Take your feet about the width of your mat or wider, Shavasana. Arms by your side, palms up a little bit away from your body. Make any adjustments here, maybe tucking the shoulder blades under, tucking the pelvis under. Whatever you need to do to relax your body. And then close your eyes. Take a nice big inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. One more time, inhale and exhale. When you exhale, allow the teeth to part. Allow the lower jaw to relax. Soften around your cheeks and your eyes. Allow your eyeballs to feel heavy in your skull. And then relax the space between the eyebrows. Soften all the skin on your scalp. And allow the sensation to trickle down through your body, along your neck, your shoulders, your arms, to your fingertips, all the way along your spine, into your hips, your legs, your feet, your toes. And now keep the mind present. Let the body be still. You've made great efforts to bring change in your body, to lengthen, to let go of tension. So just allow all that to settle in. Now slowly invite a deeper breath into your body. And softly wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. When your body is ready, reach your arms up overhead and give yourself just a very gentle full body stretch. Bend your knees, bring the soles of your feet to your mat. Turn and roll over to your right side. Stay on your right side for just a couple more breaths. Good. And press into your hands. Bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position on your mat. And invite your hands together at your heart center. Close your eyes, bow towards your hands. And just take a moment here to thank your body for all that it does for you every single day. The light in me honors and recognizes the light in all of you. Namaste.